Vegito! Let me show you how far more you can go.
Alright, so in this one, I'm going to be breaking down on how to achieve Godly in Dragon Ball Legends PvP, right? This is going to be a full beginner's guide breakdown on everything that is required, everything that goes into it, and, you know, some PvP tips are definitely going to be thrown in there for you guys, so make sure to drop a like in the video before we jump in, and subscribe if you guys are new here, because I'm uploading throughout all of Legends Fest. But yeah, this is currently under Legends Festival 2023, and if you're trying to go Godly rank and you're like a new player or just need help, like you've been a regular top grinding player or just even an average player and you want to ascend into the Godly realms of PvP, this is the video for you, right? You want this star aesthetic at the top left corner. It comes with, of course, the screen display, and it comes with extra special rewards. So if you guys are not interested in any of that, that's pretty much all it is, right? It's just a ranking in the game that shows you're amongst the top couple of, you know, X amount of players. So you're really just getting more chrono crystals, same amount of eraser. You're literally just doing it for the status, bro. To be honest, if you want different rewards, you want 100 extra Z power, you need to go all the way to top 100, which is, you know, is also Godly. But there is a specific title that I guess you could be going for technically if you go all the way down to events. Say you're a collector and you want to start collecting like celebrational titles of like the festival anniversary. We do have this festival duel special Godly season title, so this shows that you've ended the season at Godly rank twice, this season and the next season from now. So it's a special looking title. It's pretty dope, just aesthetic wise. Normally at this rank, you're consistently fighting higher ranked players as well, so you'll just naturally get better. You know, it'll be cool to start starring up your Godly number, right? The number at the top left corner, 43, represents the number of times I have ended the season Godly, right? You actually get your star after your second win. It doesn't need to be consecutive. You can end off Godly, take a break, and then if you end another season Godly, you'll get your second star. So if you're wondering about the stars, you need to end twice, non-consecutive. To end off Godly, you need to end off in battle rank 70, of course, and in the top 1,000 of top world global players. So your group does not matter. And the way that the new system works here is you want to have a really good amount of playtime plus win rate. Those are like the two most important things right now, is playtime and win rate. How the previous system used to work is like literally you could start grinding the last couple of days without even touching the PvP system and catch up in no time, just because there were so many players above you in top rank that they were just, you know, you would match up with them, win those guys, and you would just get way more points than average. But right now, you're getting a flat number. I think there is a win rate bonus, but it's like 1, if anything. So you need to start playing as soon as the PvP season starts. That's 1. And play for like maybe a couple hours a day, maybe 1 or 2 hours. It's not like insane amounts. I personally don't play for that long. But if you start sooner, the better the odds, just because you'll already be placed higher than most people. So a lot of people kind of take their time with the rankings or ain't even playing so often, and they kind of end up just placed anywhere in the top 10,000, which you're also getting PvP, CC rewards and stuff like that. You are getting a flat number for the most part until you run into these extra RP bonuses. So you see players with this, you're getting an extra bonus for defeating this player, and you might actually rank up. The highest battle rank up is 70. So once you hit 70, it's a flat battle rank. You only hit Godly when they activate it within a season, even if you're in the top 1,000. I've gotten a lot of questions asked about that, specifically, why am I not in God rank? I'm top 1,000, I'm BR 70. It activates later within a season. It always takes time to activate. Me personally, I'm always in like around the top 100 range. Taking a quick look at the leaderboards here. Basically, if we do take a look at the top 10 players in the world, we're going to notice that the RP range is ridiculous amongst the top players. Top 10 in the world, the 10th place, 25,898 RP. And then the number 1 player is almost double that, right? Double would be 50K. But 41,000, right? And you're getting a flat rate of like 50 a win, something around those lines. Like, so 2 games is giving you guys 100 RP. Around that. And this is not including the RP bonuses that you're getting for fighting specific players. This is not including the, you know, the win streak that you do receive. You constantly just, if you want to rank higher, and this is, it gets worse the higher you go. So if you're lower ranked, if you're in the top 1,000, tens of thousands, or even, you know, like 1 through 10,000, it's a lot easier to fly up the rankings considering the gap isn't this crazy, right? As the farther I go back, as you can see here, there's a lot of closer rankings. Everyone here is 21,000. Everyone in the top 90 is 20,000. If we go back to start, say, like the couple of hundred, you're going to notice a pattern here. Everyone is around 20,000 here. Everyone around this 100 is at 19,000. So what this means is people have started grinding way early in the season, and they were all able to kind of maintain a certain ranking, a certain distance. But it is definitely achievable even with losses, even if you go on loss streaks. It's very easy to be done if you just play. That's what this new system promotes in PvP, is you just want to play. Even if you're fighting a higher ranked player, a really low ranked player, you're winning and losing the same amount every game, no matter who you play in this game. So that means you can constantly fight top players and constantly fight really low ranked players and just start to stack and make up points that you have previously lost. So I know a lot of people, you know, don't have like the skill or things that they need to practice on or the time. Win rate is pretty important if you want to see progress, but just know your points can definitely be made up for if you're just constantly playing. And the best way to achieve this without playing like endless hours the last minute is to play a little bit every day. If you want to hit godly, the best thing you can do is start frame 1, play, climb up the ladder this way. You're going to maintain a certain ranking because a lot of people are kind of undergoing the same exact process, right? No one is like literally flying up to the moon. That's the top dudes here. That's pretty much what you can do if you want to reach number 1. It's a fest of who can play the most and win the most in general. The whole things that you need into achieving God rank is having a synergized team. I'm not going to make, if you want a full team building guide, please let me know. I know it's Legends Festival and a lot of people do need help. Team building, what is the best way to, you know, make optimal teams? What are the different kind of teams? How to equipment? Specifically, I'm going to give you guys the simplistic version of how to build a team here. A synergized Z ability setup. Obviously, the leader slot could be anybody. The team that you guys do see here is the most balanced team that you could potentially get here, right? So all these guys have, this is a double Z ability, meaning strike and blast, offensive Z ability, strike and blast, offensive Z ability. This is blast, this is blast, this is strike, and this is blast. So a little bit more blast focus, but you definitely have that strike Z abilities thrown in there. You know, all the units are going to be dealing decent strike and decent blast damage, right? So you want to focus a synergy with strike or blast. For equipments, you want to peak out your equipments. That is a huge point. Peak your equipments, because there's a lot of times in games where it could really make the difference. You know, I know it's really hard to get that first slot. Whatever you guys do, get that first slot's also important. It also helps you achieve the godly rank status for a lot of your equipments. But as you guys can see here, a lot of my equipments is as high as possible. It's literally maxed out. This first slot unfortunately couldn't go godly because of, you know, first slot's pretty rare and you have the resources for it. But yeah, a lot of these slots, these are not maxed out. They could be higher, meaning there's more percentages in your pure defense on this item. More offense here would basically be a little bit higher as well. The peak offense on this is 12%, and the peak defense on this slot is 12% as well, pure defense. So basically, I can guarantee this item. How to peak them out, you just go here, re-upgrade, and guarantee. And me personally, I wouldn't upgrade or do anything that you're seeing here unless this equipment was able to go godly, or if you know it can't go godly, then I would still do it if you want to, if you're going to rock the equipment. That if you don't have the stars, especially don't have the stars, you want to have this team be as optimal as possible for your grinding needs, right? If you want to go godly, your team needs to be peaked out. All my stars are pretty high up. I know it's, you know, that you can control, but, you know, I'm not going to go out there and be like, spend money and get your stars up. Save for a team, main a team, and then you could have build up your stars progressively with your main team. And then equipment wise, guarantee peak your slots. Have a lot of red slots, which means it could go as high as possible. 10%. You want this to be 10%. So you're dealing the best max damage as possible, max defense, and even max HP. These are huge pointers here. That's like the main reason I don't even have to run an HP bench. You're probably looking at this team. Why doesn't Vergil have an HP bench? The top 3 characters on this build all have 10% HP on all their items here. So it actually gives them 30% to base HP just from the equipments. And that's kind of a rare sight. A lot of like pure equipments going along. There's a ton of base on this setup because there's Zenkai buffs going on. But this is enough for the team building. I'm not going to dive any deeper than this. This is pretty much just have an optimal team in PvP, and you're gonna get far, right? If you guys want me to make a in-depth further team building guide, please let me know in the comments. But you know, Zenkai buffs, I'm only focusing on the top 3 characters here. So Evo Ken's getting a Zenkai buff, Go Freeze is getting 2 Zenkai buffs, 17 being the support glue carry. There's rush protection from the gauge of Go Freeze and the endurance, and they protect 17's endurance. This is like a full safety build, heavy offensive, double offensive team. This is like one of the best teams in the game right now. So me running this team, there's so much safety on it, and I'm going to be a lot more optimal when I'm running into PvP. I thought I would throw this in there, is that there's daily bonuses. Like if you want an extra bonus, never forget to do your daily treasure battle, because it gives you a free win pretty much. If you lose in treasure battle, you won't lose any RP, but if you get a win, you're going to gain 50 RP, I believe. All right, jumping into the third part of this video, I'm going to be throwing some PvP tips out there. I also plan to do a full in-depth, better PvP guide, but I thought I would give you guys some of the main pointers you guys want in PvP to kind of have optimized gameplay and to win games the most, right? And some tips that I have, number one is risk and reward, right? You got to know what is worth a risk and reward play, right? Pretty much any play you do in the game is going to have... You need to risk to make plays. That's just as simple as that. You don't want to be floating there and get caught up. You want to most of the time be clicking cards, but at the same exact time, there's things you got to be aware of, like PVs, which are perfect vanishes. You got to be aware of, you know, either going right away or being patient, waiting on side steps and stuff like that. So risk and reward. All right. So basically, the first key tip that I do have is pattern recognition, right? With pattern recognition, you're pretty much adapting to your opponent and recognizing what they do often, right? And that's hard to tell flat out with the beginning of a game. Is like, I don't know how this person's gonna play. Is he gonna play aggressive? Is he gonna play passive? It's your job to adapt to this play. And obviously there's a lot of RNG in this game, a lot of uncontrollable factors like 50-50s, flip coins, side steps, whatever the case is, right? If I do a blast, you do a strike, someone's going to come out on top on the 50-50, right? So I'm going to wiggle here so he knows what's up. Most people start off with tackles. You see how he is sidestepping? Basically, this is his pattern here. I catch him on the sidestep because I know that's what he's going to do. Personally, just wait to read how a player will act. If you know he's going to go right away, just give it a second. I'm out of here. Sidestep. Tap here. Just adapting to your opponents is one huge variable in this game that's going to get you far. So a lot of players are going to play differently, and a really good way to adapt is by playing a ton. You know, not everyone's going to play the same or have the same exact play style. You kind of just get used to players mid-game. So you can either be used to certain play styles by playing a lot, or you can immediately get used to what their patterns are. So that's the two things, right? You see their patterns. Does this guy like to go instantly? Does this guy like to be patient? Does he like to sidestep a lot? Does he PV fish, perfect vanish fish? So the sidestep's there. You could tell someone's trying to perfect vanish fish you. If your opponent gets a perfect vanish, they can immediately start comboing you. So one thing that is another really useful tip is unpredictability, right? Something that's really unpredictable is mid-range strikes. I personally wouldn't recommend mid-range striking a lot, but it's one play that if you have blast armor, it's pretty good just because a lot of players go for a blast. What is he doing? So he's constantly tapping here. You could just go for an attack. I guess he's trying to show off a pattern here. But unpredictability, just doing something that your opponent would not typically, you know, and having that in your mind, I guess, is not the best trait, just because you might be too focused on being unpredictable and just make bad plays. But maybe just do things out of the norm, like full range strikes. I usually do mid-range strikes. Baits. Bait there, you see, I got him to vanish from that bait, and I got a full combo off, an attack. All right, continuing here, we have the knowing kits, right? If you know kits, basically, you want to utilize your mechanics to the fullest. Obviously, you can jump into PvP games and just cook, you know, kind of what the characters do and stuff, but you're not fully familiar with everything that's possible. Like, with this team that I have right now, it has so much utility, vanish restoration, cover nullification, rush, like pretty much anything that you need in the game, this team specifically has. And this goes for a lot of other teams that has just niche mechanics with like disruption, higher damage inflicted, ramp ups, gaining cover nullification, etc., right? You kind of just blast armor, for instance, right? Let's see. We have a cover change here. Knowing that I have a cover change helps me get out of this combo. So if you know your kits, I know it's pretty obvious mechanic right there. If you know mechanics, right? He has blast armor. He can go through that blast card. These are like the basic mechanics. But say, for instance, like if you want to protect yourself from Rising Rush, if I was actually thinking about the kits or knowing their kits, I could play a lot more efficiently and a lot more optimally, right? Like a character like 17 actually being able to nullify buffs, right? He's that one character that's going to protect you from, you know, he has endurance, right? But he's able to nullify the buffs of a lot of characters that nullify endurance specifically, right? Like if I had Gogeta Blue, like if my opponent was Gogeta Blue and he rushed me, that my 17 would nullify the ability for his Gogeta to nullify my endurance, if that makes any sense, right? And that's only known via me knowing 17's kit, right? How am I going to know that 17's kit, when his gauge is full, he provides cut penetration for the whole team, or he supports the whole team on green card? It's optimal so you guys can do more damage, have more protection, more defense, know your kits, right? One other tip I can add for you guys out there right now is that counters are very common. So like Janemba being a top rank, you know, character that you're going to run into, maybe even Orange Piccolo, Ultra Vegito Blue, all have a type of counter in the game, right? Janemba's being automatic. If his gauge is filled, he is able to counter and he's able to chuck a blue card or an ultimate card at you. VB has a green card counter if you do a strike or a blast, pretty much. And if VB clicks a green card, he's going to be able to retaliate as such with the blue or ultimate. Same thing with Orange Piccolo, but I think he's able to counter with any card in the game. I'm pretty sure, like blast, blues, or strikes even. So being wary of characters that have counters or knowing how to interact with characters that have counters are very important. Like for Janemba specifically, you kind of want to get rid of his automatic counter. That's like the main thing here. He's not going to engage because you can't. You basically can't engage, or you're going to get hit with this counter and ultimate card. For units like UVB or Orange Piccolo that have green card counters, you know they want to click that card, kind of just bait them with blast arts, or, you know, do the card that won't counter. And it's hard to really say that because UVB, you're just standing there, floating there. You can even tackle into that counter, I'm pretty sure. It's unfortunate. Blue cards, I guess. Just be aware of counters. Passive aggressive is a huge thing. Knowing when to be aggressive, knowing to when to be passive in the game. I think that's one of the biggest things that people struggle with, and they actually stick to that play style. So if you're an aggressive player and you're going to be aggressive all game, just know you can literally switch it up. So your opponent is gonna, it's an unpredictable trait, which we mentioned earlier. Being unpredictable is huge. It'll actually change the entire flow of the game here, at least switching your play style. So if you get passive, you get patient, you're able to wait for side steps, you're able to catch your opponent lacking as such here. You definitely want to switch between these gameplays. Obviously, if you prefer more aggressive, you can stick to that mainly. But if you see your opponent playing passive, that's when I recommend you play a little bit more passive, and they'll try to switch up into an aggressive standpoint, and that's when you return to the aggression. So they're playing passive, you play a little bit more passive. If they start getting aggressive, you need to switch it up. Just read their gameplays, adaptability, recognize patterns. You see them sidestepping a lot. You see them PV fishing. What happens when they PV fish? You bait. You do these tap blasts. You bait out a vanish. Last thing. Watch gameplay, tap into my videos or my live streams. I'm grinding top rank gameplay. Watching top players play the game will make you advance tremendously, so you can observe people's different play styles, gameplay, how people adapt, right? But if you guys did find this video helpful, make sure to drop a like, subscribe. Let me know if you guys need any of those specific guides in the comments. PvP wise, tips specifically. I mean, a PV guide, I might do one. It's Legends Fest. I know a lot of you guys do need help. See you guys in the next one. Stay frosty. I'm out.
Up all night, so you don't wanna wait on me. I'm about to catch my flight.